Hello, everybody. This is super impromptu. I'm actually just trying to post on this on Instagram to see if I could get some more people to come hang out with us here today because I haven't done a live stream in, I feel like, 5 years. And I know it hasn't been that long, but it's been that long. It has been since April that I changed my consistency on when I'm doing my live streams, and it's been a while, and I wasn't even planning to do this today, but here we are. I could have planned this a little bit better. I could have put myself together. Y'all, this is fresh off of a workout, a run. Probably still have like deodorant and gross stuff, and I'm sweaty. But you know what? Here I am. I'm showing up. I've got like the last of my green smoothie that I'm gonna finish drinking while we're here chatting. But I thought, you know what? It's just, I really miss doing live streams and interacting with y'all and having just these back and forth conversations that you can do on a live stream. So if you are watching this while we are live, tell us where you're watching. Tell us in the comments where you're watching from. And if you have any questions, put them in the chat. This is an impromptu coffee chat and let's hang out. I have, y'all, you should see, this is embarrassing. So I have my little green drink that I have my Big Mama coffee cup, and I have my water bottle. Like I have all the beverages this morning. Okay. So y'all tell me in the comments where you're watching from. All right, Murfreesboro, Tennessee. So happy that you're here, Corey. Yes, this is awesome. I feel that the heat has really been kind of everywhere, no matter where you are in the country, globally even, like it's just been like super hot. And today I feel like, I don't know what it is. I feel like there was a little bit of a breeze, and I am just like feeling grateful for the weather that we're having in Texas right now. It's probably gonna be different in like 20 minutes, but I'm wondering if it's feeling the same way in Tennessee, if it's super hot there right now. Hey, Facebook user, that's all it says. I know, I can't, unless you give StreamYard permissions, and maybe you've done it in the past, but it could be possibly that I haven't done this in a long time. And you may need to give StreamYard permissions again, but you're in Mississippi. Love seeing it. Love seeing it. Okay, this is Elder. Okay, I don't know what that means. This is Elder. Does that mean that's your name? Or are you using someone else's YouTube? I guess I don't know. I don't know what that means. So, y'all, okay, this is gonna be really fun. So if you have any questions, put them in the chat. Put a Q in front of them. It just makes it easier for me to grab questions and not let them slip on by. But I really just wanted to do this impromptu coffee chat just to hang out with y'all and do a check-in, because it is something that, yes, oh my gosh. Is this Monique? Is it Monique? Because I'm just like, this is, so Monique, Diane, like there are so many people in our Facebook group that like we had this thing going, right? Like every Tuesday we would hang out, do the live stream, we would all catch up, everybody would share their wins, everybody would share all the fantastic things that have been going on. And so I hate that I can't see I can't see who this is. So you will have to tell me who this is, because I'm so curious who this is in our Facebook group. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is funny. Okay, yes. Oh, okay, good. It's me. I don't know why I was showing that. This is so funny. I went out on a limb. I was like, I bet this is Monique, because Monique, you're always so active in our Facebook group. And I see you got a new profile picture. I love it. It looks so awesome. But y'all, okay, I have to give Monique a shout out, because she always is so active whenever we do these lives. And she has the Demo with Mo podcast. And I always get nervous because I'm gonna butcher it. So Demo, DEMO, stands for dating, engaged, married, objectives, Is it objectives? I always get nervous on the O. I'm always like, oh, I don't know what it is. But it's basically for relationships. It's a podcast about relationships. So go check out Demo with Mo, which is Monique's podcast. And we actually did a coaching call. Monique, I'm going to give you a real-time update. I am going to be airing your coaching call. Is coming. Oh, look, I have my content calendar open right now. That is coming in August. So I know it feels like we did this years ago, but since I changed all of the content schedule, some of the way that my schedule is right now, it's a solo episode and then we'll do an interview or a coaching call. And it just so happens that your interview that we did back in February, I think it was in February, like these are still coming out, but yours is coming. You can even save the date. It's coming on August 2nd. That's the Tuesday episode where Monique and I are going to be talking about her podcast. Okay, good. She said, you got it. All right, awesome. Awesome. Yes, you are so welcome. So happy to be here. Hi, Ash. Happy to see you on LinkedIn. This is so fun, y'all. I miss interacting with everybody. So if you have questions, you have podcast questions, you have content questions, you have content strategy questions, you have YouTube questions, social media, like post them in the chat. I actually did something today for the first time that I haven't done before. And if y'all are email marketing nerds, or you want to know more about email marketing, let me know in the comments and I can share with you what I did, because I'm creating content for a new program that I'm creating. I'll be launching in the fall. And I wanted to do a survey with my audience. And what I did is I created buttons within an email. And so what happens is you click one of the buttons and there's this thing on the back end in my email service provider ConvertKit where it will label people based on what they clicked on. So I can know like, oh, these are the most popular topics that people wanted me to talk about. That was my goal and intention, is I wanted to kind of narrow down. I have a few ideas of some content that would be really helpful, or some different ideas that I want to include in the launch and in the sales copy and just in other places that whenever I go to promote this program is going to be super helpful. So I listed out all these buttons. There were 6. I know it sounds like a lot. There were 6 ideas, but that was the idea. I wanted to narrow them down to the top 2 or 3 that were most important to my audience. So y'all tell me, and I can show you that on the back end if you want to see that. There's some other fun things going on with Buzzsprout ads. If y'all haven't heard about this yet, oh my gosh. So Buzzsprout just started doing ads. Like I feel like I'm all over the place. I could talk about so many different things, because this is what we used to do around here all the time. We used to do just a bunch of quick updates, and I'd share with you the latest things going on in the industry. I'd also share, what I was excited to talk about with Profit Media, but I'm here for y'all today. Like I am here to answer your questions, to get you up to speed on any other things that you want to talk about that have to do with content creation, podcast, anything like that. So y'all just tell me what you want us to talk about. Okay. Monique says, I want to hear about the ads. So I created a YouTube video coming out next Friday. So stay tuned for that. And a podcast episode that's coming out next week. Like the whole theme of next week is going to be about Buzzsprout ads, but I can give you kind of the gist of it. And I actually want to send you to a link I'm going to put up on the screen. Hang on one second, which it's pretty easy. I guess I don't have to put it up on the screen, but y'all know, I can just go ahead and share my screen too. So I'm going to do that. Okay, yeah. So Corey says too, please share the latest on Buzzsprout ads. Okay, let's dive into this, because I think that it's something that I'm just stepping into, like baby stepping into. I'm really excited about it. So this is where you're going to go. And like I said, I have a YouTube video coming out where I'm going to explain everything exactly like what it is. But you can go to, I don't know why I put an equal sign. There we go, whatever. Buzzsprout.com/ads. Okay, Buzzsprout.com/ads. And what you're going to see, let me share my screen. Okay, so here we are. Let me change this down here. Okay, so now y'all know where to go. I'm going to take this off. Hang on. There's lots of things happening here. There we go. So you can see here, and I'll make this bigger. You just go to buzzsprout.com/ads. And this is really awesome, y'all. If you've been wanting to monetize your podcast, or you've been wanting to get your show in front of more people, this is the way to do it. Okay, so let's look at it from, because you'll need to do this if you're going to create ads, this is the angle we're going to go at from, and then we'll talk about monetization in a second. So if I were wanting to promote my podcast on other podcasts, this is what I would do. So for those of you that have tried Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube ads, anything like that, Google AdSense, any of those platforms, then maybe you're like, they're not converting into podcast listeners. I am of the belief that, well, it's usually because that's not what those, like, people aren't listening to podcasts on Instagram. They're not listening to podcasts on Facebook. But if there is something baked in to a podcast episode that flows naturally into it, people are already listening to a podcast. It's likely that if they hear a Demo with Mo advertisement on a show and they're like, oh, I'm already listening to a podcast about relationships. Here's another one. I like the way she sounds. I like her vibe. She sounds like someone that I could, get on board with her message. I'm going to go check her out. That is the intention of the Buzzsprout ads. Excuse me. So what you do, and I explain this a lot in the YouTube video that I created, you can only upload a 40-second promotional. You cannot do more than that, because I tried. I was like, I'll sneak in, I'll do 42 seconds because I was trying to cut it down. I recorded this thing like 6 times and I was like, okay, let me cut it down. And I just, it has to be 40 seconds, which seems really quick, but you can say a lot in 40 seconds. And so what you do is you create this audio clip and then you'll upload it to their platform. And then you can reach like this 5,000 reach here. These are downloads of your ad. Now, let me be really clear, because this has been a question that's been coming up with the Buzzsprout crew, is they have been kind of getting the confusing question of people saying, well, I bought 5,000 downloads, but they didn't show up in my stats. And they're like, hang on, time out. That's not what this was for. This was not meant for me to pay them money. And then all of a sudden I go into my Profit Podcast stats and they're like more downloads. That's not what this is about. By the way, if you have not, let me throw this up here real fast. This is a podcast. If you haven't listened to it yet, go check it out. This is my show that it's super helpful. If you're into content creation of any kind, it's super helpful. But this is what I created an ad for. I created an audio clip that says, hey, if you want to know how to start a podcast, launch a YouTube channel, repurpose content, come listen to the show, click the link in the show notes, and you'll be able to come check it out. So this is what I did. I created that audio file. This was important. I wanted you to know that, because that's what this is. This is reaching 5,000 people to hear the ad. It says for 100, but I'm going to show you something in a second, because it's not $100 right now. It's cheaper than that. But yeah, so these are distributed across other Buzzsprout podcasts. Another disclaimer. I feel like there's all the disclaimers right. Buzzsprout won't ever put something on your show without your permission. So as a Buzzsprout hosted podcast, there won't just be like a random podcast being advertised on my show without my permission. They don't do that. That's not cool. But it does give me access to all the people who are willing to add podcast promotions, podcast ads on their show. Then they could select and say, you know what? I like the sound of the Profit Podcast. My audience would really like this. So I'm going to select to monetize my show. So their ads start running my ads start running on their podcast. And then I can get access to a wider audience that way. So in a nutshell, this is what it is. And if you're like, I have no idea how I would create an ad. Don't worry, that's coming in next week's YouTube video. But there are some other examples here that you can go listen. I was part of the beta and the very first rollout launch, as well as the other podcasters you see here. And these ads, like their ads are way better than mine. I'm not gonna lie. I changed, my original beta one is not even available. I don't like it as much. These are so much better. And my second version is a lot better now. But you can see more about like what it looks like whenever it's there, and what people will see in the ad, as well as I can show you on my website what it looks like when it goes from transitioning, like on my Buzzsprout website, when it goes from transitioning from my show into the ad. They actually give you that information. But yeah, so it's 2 cents per download. These are the prices, but they're on sale right now. I've already said that like a few times. They're on sale. So I bought the 10,000 download plan and it was $140. So it wasn't $200. And then I think this one right now is $70 to get started, which in my opinion, to reach 5,000 potential people, then that's great. But I also think about this as a smart marketer. We have to think about this in terms of, that doesn't mean it's necessarily going to reach 5,000 individual listeners. That could be 200 listeners that hear it multiple times, which I'll be really honest with y'all. If I get 200 extra listeners from spending $140, that's way cheaper than spending $140 on Instagram ads for someone that would be like a wishy-washy, like, I don't really know if they're going to be a great person to be in my audience, like they're going to convert and other things. So from a business standpoint, a podcast listener is so much more valuable than just a follower on Instagram. That's the truth. Like or even someone that follows me on, any social media platform, a podcast listener is more invested in my content. Therefore, they're likely to listen more. They're likely to follow the calls to action that I'm making. So if you're thinking about any type of advertisement, I highly, highly recommend doing something like this for your podcast, just because the value of a podcast listener tends to be a lot higher than a subscriber on other types of platforms. So I hope that makes sense. But let me know if y'all have questions about this. Hey! Oh, this is my mom. Hey, mama. Yes, she's watching in Texas. So happy that you're here. That's so fun. Go follow my mom and her YouTube channel. It's awesome. It's about gardening. It's about just doing all the things in the garden. Plus she also has some really good recipes. I always tell people she has an amazing tortilla recipe. I think that we've mentioned it. Monique can tell me, like, back me up on this. I think I've talked about her tortilla recipe multiple times when we've done lives like this. So go to her YouTube channel and check her out. Yes, Corey, this is amazing. This is so amazing. Oh, thank you so much. So are your tutorials. I'm looking forward to the release as you go through the steps. So this is something that in the YouTube video, I do meticulously go through every single part of it. And I show you the behind the scenes of the ad that I created, because I know y'all want to know this stuff. Like, you don't want to just be like, oh, do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, and you're good. You want to know, well, how can I make a really good ad? Or what am I supposed to say? These are the very basic questions that I know y'all want answers to. You don't just want me to spit out a checklist and say, do this and you're good. You want to know, how can I do this in the best way to optimize my content, the best way to get the most bang for my buck, and the best way that you can use your marketing dollars smart. Because I'll be really honest with y'all, I don't do a ton of advertising dollars. Like, I don't budget for that. I don't spend a ton in marketing. And that's simply because I am doing so much in content. I do so much organic reach. And it is starting to get to the point where I want to invest smart marketing dollars back into advertising. And this is the place where I wanted to go kind of all in. I plan on budgeting hundreds more dollars over the next few months into ads to see what type of result it's going to do or what's going to happen. and I can look at the shows that are promoting my podcast. I can see like, oh, okay, these are the types of podcasts that are running my ads. And I'm starting to do all the statistical checks on my end to see, did I get a bump in downloads? Did I get more people coming to my show? Do I have more subscribers on Apple or Spotify? Or was there an impact? So these are the things that I'm doing on my end to measure, like recalibrate, experiment, and then show you how you can do this to grow your content as well. Oh yeah, see, she's backing me up. Yes, I've talked about the tortilla. The tortilla. If you want to know how to make really, really good tortillas, please go to my mom's YouTube channel. It's so good. It's what I watch anytime I want to make tortillas. But honestly, if I want fresh homemade tortillas, I'll go to her house and be like, Mom, can you make us tortillas? Because they're so good. But let me know if that answers y'all's questions. I want to show you the questions about ads. Okay, so let me show you this. This is actually a really good one. So this week's podcast episode, let me go here. So this is in the back end of my Buzzsprout. So see, look, this is the monetization piece. So this is me. So that first part was like me as a podcaster on Buzzsprout that wants to promote my show. That was the first angle that we took with Buzzsprout ads. Now we can look at it from me as the podcast host that wants to monetize using ads. You can see I have 27 new ads to look at to approve whether I want to have these promoted on my show or not. And I already do have ads. If you listen to my show already, then you've probably started to hear these more often, that they're getting placed in my show. And you can actually see right here, if you're a Buzzsprout user, you're probably used to seeing these right here. It'll have MM for Magic Mastering. Then this one is for an ad. And then there's also one for dynamic content, which I don't have any dynamic content live right now because I just got through with the launch and I like to give my audience a break. I don't always have dynamic content in my show, but I do whenever I'm actively promoting something. So now let's go down here. And there's a few different ways that you can look at like the different content that's already in your podcast, like what's getting played once you've approved an ad to run. And these right here, this is what you can expect your podcast to look like on someone else's show. So these are the shows that I've already approved, and these are ads that are running on my podcast. And I want to show you, because maybe you're like, oh, I don't want it to just start running and then I don't know what it sounds like. Here's what you can do as a user, as the host. You can go into chapters, and then it will show you. Do you see this? The artwork changes whenever it's playing, and it shows you how long it is and when it continues back to the show. So they've done this really cool thing, and you can see it here, where this is a very smart mid-roll placements. And what it does is it will pick a place, and I don't know, this is where it's like above my pay grade, the technical pieces of it, but it will pick and say, okay, this is a great place to put a mid-roll ad in this podcast episode. So this is where we're going to drop this promotion. And then because this is a longer episode, I want to say it's 40, so it's 48 minutes. This was a long interview. So there's 2 in this one particular episode. This is another thing. To be eligible, I don't know if it has the eligibility on here, but when you go to create your first ad, it will have, oh wait, no, hang on. Now I'm thinking about this in both ways. If you want your podcast to be eligible for running ads, then it has to have at least 1,000 downloads per month and be 24 minutes long. Y'all don't quote me on that. I don't know if that's 100% correct, because we try to do this for the potty report in my YouTube video, which I'll show you all the things. That one's coming out soon too. I'm doing the one that walks through this first, where I'm going to show you how to do it. And then the next one will be what it's like to accept ads and go through this whole thing. So let me show you what it looks like. So it's playing. Now, if I go to 8 minutes, well, let me just click here. So you could see, do you see how the podcast artwork changed? That's because this is this ad playing. And then over here, so if you were just in your podcast, you want to know, well, how does this sound? I want to know what the experience is going to be for my listeners. You could click here, and this is her ad getting played on my podcast. I love this so much, y'all. I'm ecstatic about this. And there's a few reasons. One, you get to monetize your show. So if you've been busting your butt, you've been creating content, and you're like, I just want to make enough money to pay for my podcast hosting or to cover other costs that you have, whether it's other software. Y'all, software can be expensive. I know. I pay a lot of money every year to all the software that I love and I trust, and I just can't function without. I know that software can be expensive. It can be expensive to create content. And so I love that this gives you that ability to make some of that money back to cover your expenses. I don't know that this is going to be the thing that gets you rich and you can retire just because you started monetizing your podcast. Maybe you can. If you get millions and millions of downloads every month, maybe you can do that. I don't get millions of downloads a month. If that's not a spoiler to you, I haven't even hit 1 million downloads on my podcast. So there you go. I haven't hit that many downloads on my show. But what I am able to do, I'm able to monetize. I'm also able to get some of these podcasts out there that otherwise may not have the audience to really expand their message and reach more people. So that's really what I love this about. Like, y'all know, I'm all about supporting people in the community. We've done podcast swaps on the Profit Podcast before, where people send in audio clips and I would upload them onto the show and it would be part of the dynamic content. Like, that was so much fun. And this is kind of the same idea, except for now we are getting paid for it as podcast hosts, but also we're giving the opportunity to promote our shows across other Buzzsprout podcasts, which I love this. I could keep going on and on. I'm really, really excited about this feature. Let me know if y'all have any other questions. I had planned to stay here for about 20 or 30 minutes. And now here we are, we're almost at 30 minutes, but I could take a few more questions. If you want to know anything else, if you want to see another feature in here about the monetization, let me show you real fast. Where do we go? So I just clicked on monetization here, and then it tells you all about beta and like what the beta process is, and just the different FAQs that people have had about how this works. But what it does in a nutshell is it gives you all these opportunities, and I can go through and listen. Again, they won't put anything on your podcast without your permission. So there's an approval process where I could say, okay, I'm going to listen to this, and then I like what they say here, and then I can either decline or accept an ad. I'm not going to do that in real time because I do go and listen to all of these before I play them on my show. And then I will go through and select like, well, this is great, or this is, probably not a good fit. Like if you decline something over here, it will ask you, are you not interested? Is this not a good fit? Is it poor audio quality? So they, Buzzsprout, is getting feedback on the types of ads that are being created and run on these shows. So look, y'all, there's so many. I just look at this and I see so much potential for all these podcasters to get their show in front of more people in a way that's going to benefit everybody. Because in podcasting, I just truly believe that there's space for all of us. Like, I mean, I listened to 2 podcasts this morning already. Like, I don't just listen to one podcast and one podcast only. I'm subscribed to like 40 podcasts and I don't listen to all of them every single week, but I don't discriminate against podcasts. Like, I don't just love one business podcast and not listen to any others. I listen to several that are in one specific category. And I think that you should too. I think we all should. Anyway, I'll stop rambling about this. Yes, it is very cool. I'm super excited about it. And yeah, this was really fun. I miss the energy of doing lives. I'm going to have to find a way to bake these in. Maybe I'll do like a happy hour, like right after, like at 5 o'clock or 5:30 on, once a month or something. It's just been way too long since I've done one of these. So fun. I've missed you all. And I'm so happy that y'all showed up here today on a Friday to hang out with me. But that's all I have for you. So as always, y'all have a fantastic Friday. Have a great weekend. And at the end of the day, keep it up. We all have to start somewhere. Bye, y'all.